All right, guys. So we got a couple things to talk about today. First, we got the anti-Trump protests just before the inauguration on Monday, and then we have Joy Reid freaking out about the election in 2024. Let's get into it. All right. So the first story we got coming up is the anti-Trump protests. The most unenthusiastic crowd I've ever seen. The only people that seem enthusiastic about this event is the leaders on stage. Watch this.
Tell this government no more weapons to Israel. Bring that money home. Bring that money home for us, for our people, for our care. We got to bring the gang on. Come on.
Thousands gathering in Washington to protest the incoming Trump administration. The People's March is this year's version of the march that drew hundreds of thousands of people to the Capitol back in 2017. NBC's Julia Jester is right near that rally that is happening now at the Lincoln Memorial. Julia, welcome to you. What is the mood there today?
Good to be with you, Alex. As you can see, there are tens of thousands of demonstrators here on the mall protesting President-elect Trump ahead of his inauguration. It is a big crowd, but it's a far cry from the hundreds of thousands we saw at the Women's March in 2017. Not just gathering here in D.C., but all across the country, even the globe. Now, a difference here this time around, you notice it's the People's March, not just the Women's March. We started near the White House where different interest groups were gathering, climate, democracy, women's rights issues, and they all made their way to the mall. Now we have speakers at this rally. It lacks the star power of the Women's March. No celebrities like Madonna or even elected leaders. Then Senator Kamala Harris was here last time, so it's a little bit more subdued. And I spoke with some demonstrators on our way over here, including a woman named Zoe from Arkansas who went to one of those satellite protests in 2017. And here was her take on how the mood differs this time around. What do you feel like the mood is this time around compared to 2017's protests?
Less optimistic.
All right, so these people are not happy, clearly, or should I say these women are not happy about the incoming administration. They are also not the most optimistic looking bunch. These people are mad about most things in the world, and one of them being that daddy is coming home on Monday. And I really wonder who has the time to go to these events like this and, spend hours whining and nagging. Now, take a look at this. All right, so this is the schedule of the day for the protests going on in D.C. As you can see, it is pretty much everybody there. We have the Democratic Socialists of America. We have Popular Democracy Rising to Majority. And then we have the LGBTQ, AI. I forget how many more there are. And then you have the gender revolution down here, the liberation, generation of common good. Like it's everybody's here. This pretty much everybody is there. And then down here you have what to expect. The People's March will be a day of joyful resistance, community building, and powerful action. Joyful resistance. Heard that one before. You'll hear from inspiring speakers who will energize us and unite us. Wow, energize? You're doing pretty bad at that. You'll connect the resources to sustain long-term resistance and participate in trainings that will equip you with critical skills to protect yourself and the community. Together, we'll march to remind the nation that real power lies with the people. And our resistance is unshakable. Yeah, real power lies with the people, and the people voted for Donald Trump. Sorry. That's crazy. The delusion is real, folks. All right, so let's just move on to the next topic. All right, next up we got Joy Reid, who is clearly in denial about Trump's incoming administration and claiming that there may have been some foul play during the 2024 election. Let's take a look at this clip where she's, freaking out on her podcast. Play that clip.
They're even talking about like stealing an election. And it's making me rethink whether I do believe like election machines can be hacked. Because I've always been like, you can't hack the election machines, but they're like convincing me, I don't know, maybe you can. I don't know.
I mean, to me, in this world, anything is possible.
Anything is possible.
There are all these conspiracy theories out there about Trump and whether or not they cheated. I know you say that they didn't, but I know you kind of have
wait
to
a minute. I didn't say they didn't. What I said is there is a rational explanation for why Kamala Harris could have lost those swing states and Trump won them. There's a way you can get to those numbers with people staying home or only voting for Trump and not the rest of the ballot. I'm saying there's a history of that. However,
let me hear it, because
what I will say is there was absolute voter suppression that took place, and I consider that cheating. If you think about the voter law in your state of Georgia, that law is anti-voter. When you have bomb threats only in Fulton County, we don't know how many people stayed home out of fear because of the bomb threats in Fulton County. When you have Elon Musk waving around $1 million checks in order for people to vote for Trump.
Yeah.
Right. There's so many things that were done that were nefarious, to put aside just the actual voter suppression in these anti-voter laws that kept people from registering, that messed up people's voter registration when they showed up and all of a sudden they're not on the rolls.
But that happens every year, right? That happens all the time.
So yeah,
what
I
I'm
think
talking about are these conspiracy theories about Elon Musk, somehow using his tech connections, because I don't want to say genius, because we know he's not.
Yeah, he ain't a genius.
But those relationships or whatever, because they just seem too confident. And I know, and I'm not saying it was the voting machines or whatever. It just doesn't add up to me with all the support that she had. And I know that for you, and because of what happened with Fox and because what you do professionally with the network, you can't say it was the machines or something like that. But if you think it was the machines, but you can't say, just don't say anything. See, this is what I'm saying.
I'm not saying anything. All I'm saying is, there are many ways to cheat in an election. And I don't ever put it past Republicans to cheat in elections because they've been busted too many times.
All right, so I feel like I'm about to beat a dead horse right now. This is very simple. This is coming from the side where you have Joe Biden, who just got a presidential slot. He just got picked by a very powerful group of some very rich people. And sometime later, the donor money started disappearing because it was very clear that he was not going to beat Donald Trump in the presidential election. There were even internal polls in his campaign showing that Donald Trump was going to get 400 electoral votes, which is amazing. That is basically a full wipe. It's like a full wipe. Now, the Democrats clearly basically cooed him out of the race, and over the weekend, I think it was Sunday or Monday, where he put the memo on X saying that he was dropping out of the race. And then after that, we didn't see him for a few days. He didn't say nothing in public for a few days about that. And then all of a sudden, Kamala Harris comes out. She's running for president. He endorses Kamala Harris. And then all that donor money that he had went to her. And she raised, I'm pretty sure she broke a record for raising astronomical sum of money in a short period of time. But anyway, that's what happened. Okay, so liberals didn't have nothing to say about big tech over the past 4 years that they were centering conservatives. They were totally fine with having all the tech giants and billionaires and the mainstream media on their side. And it wasn't concerning for them, wasn't a problem at all. It's okay when the oligarchy is on their side, but now that they've lost and big tech is starting to pretend, to switch sides a little bit, now they're saying, oh, the oligarchy, it's real. It's oligarchy. They're rising to power. All right, so the bomb threats in Georgia were actually done, I believe, by foreigners. So there was no GOP involvement. There was no Republican people out there doing anything to voters. Okay, so Georgia actually has more voter turnout now than they did in the past few elections. So that has to be wrong. And voter suppression Can you please tell me how you prove voter suppression? I don't think there's any evidence because it's not true. If the GOP was actually going to the polls and trying to block people from going inside, trying to, showing up armed with rifles, AR-15s, and AK-47s, trying to actively stop, I don't know, black people from voting, I'm pretty sure the liberal media would be all over it and we would never forget it. It would be like January 6th, but at the polls. We would never hear the end of this. I'm sure it will be everywhere. Harris didn't do well in the election because as far as minorities voting for Democrats, she failed. There was a lot of minorities that actually switched over to the Trump side in these past couple years, and it showed in the election. So she totally failed. She wasn't going to win. I don't think Joe Biden was going to win either, even though he's walking around, I could have won that election. He wasn't going to win that election either. He was going to probably do worse than her. Yeah, I think he probably would have did worse than her. And, people say, how did she lose? She had so much support. They had all that money. I mean, they didn't have the grassroots support that Donald Trump had. It was just so obvious that people weren't really voting for her. They were voting for the Democratic apparatus. You know what I mean? They weren't voting for Kamala Harris's policies because her policies were garbage. Complete and utter garbage. Yeah, she raised more money. Yeah, she raised more money. She ran on joy. It wasn't enough. I mean, what can I say? It was just too big to rig. And Joy Reid is gonna have to just get over this. I mean, she's getting balder and balder. The closer and closer we get to the inauguration, she's getting balder and balder. Probably on Monday, the little fuzz she got on top is probably gonna be gone. She's gonna shave it off. Just shave it all off. Anyway, guys, let me know what you think about the protests going on in Washington. If you're there, please throw something in the comments below. I want to hear what you have to say. Also, please let me know your opinion on what Joy Reid had to say about the 2024 election. And I will see you guys on the next one. Peace.